through suspension and cancellation and lawsuit for the last 16 months of my time at ESPN that was public against the company for which I was still working. Did my best work.
But in the midst of this, you were also getting a divorce.
Okay, end the show, end the program.
And I think when you get a divorce, it's a failure in some ways. I just had to forgive myself. And I mean, from a spiritual aspect, like I thought God was going to be really mad at me. I look back on that time in the fear because then you have to go to work. So I remember, you get a difficult text message or a conversation with an attorney. Sometimes in commercial breaks, then you're back on, that light comes on, and whatever's going on in your personal life has to go in the back. I was on air with another one of these women who I idolized, and at the end of our 2-hour SportsCenter show, she said something nasty in the last 20 seconds to me.
Oh, it was on air?
Oh, it was live on air, yeah. When you've been controlled by a machine for 30 years with network television, but now to try it on my own and be able to say, hey, Dave said, come on down, hour or so drive from where I live in Fort Lauderdale. Like, I don't have to ask permission.
Yeah.
I can just go do what I want. When the team Trump called and they're like, you want to come with Laura? And I was like, what? Yeah, let's just go. Let's say yes to everything and try it. Like, when you say yes, crazy things can happen.
All right, Sage Steele. First off, your past intros. Your past. There's nothing. What am I possibly going to say about you at this point that
Nothing,
people don't know?
because we're actual friends now.
We are literal, actual friends. As everyone knows, I'm off the grid right now. So let's be very clear. This is the end of July as we're taping this, but it is August. I'm gone. No phone. I have no idea what's going on. You were gracious enough to bring me back last year, which was
so great.
Which was, of all the years that I've done it, I think it was the most sort of impactful and spiritual, and the story about the birds and all that stuff.
Right.
So I am MIA right now, but we're doing a little bit of, you have to stay in front of the algorithm.
Yes.
So I thought, who can we talk to that we can talk about some other stuff during August that's not so political and everything else. And we're sitting in here with my whole crew right now, and one of your daughters is here. And they're using all their young language.
Yeah.
And they're telling us all about the TikTok and all of this stuff. And we're of a certain age. We both, I just realized, also have our glasses on the table. What's happening to us, Sage?
It's over.
What is happening here?
It's over. Although it's been over for me longer than you. Because
What do you have? You have 2 years on me or something? You got
52.
You got
I'll
3
be
years.
53 this year. I know.
All right, you got 3
Next
years,
year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, blowout.
For the big 5-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that David is planning this now.
I believe that me and my 2 best childhood friends are going to do like a week in Vegas. I think I'm just going to foot the bill.
That sounds awful.
But I feel like we have to do something like that. I don't even really gamble. But we'll go to the Sphere, we'll eat some steak,
Okay, well,
we'll drink some
the
tequila.
food there to me is so underrated. I think it's incredible. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But it just seems very cliche, and that's not who you are.
Well, because I do like the beach thing all the time. I do enough of
True.
that. So what else can I do?
First of all, I just want someone
you're a woman of the finer things in life.
Obviously, someone needs to be following you around the entire time.
Oh, that I'm in Vegas?
You are in Vegas.
Whatever that even means, I'm like so past all that. Like
No. First of all, there just needs to be a bash here in Miami that you aren't hosting, that you aren't doing any work for.
Oh, that's just because you didn't come to the last Dave Rubin birthday bash.
I was in Costa Rica. Yeah. Ask her. I actually had a good excuse. Why don't you ask me before you plan your birthdays? Like, you should be asking me first.
My whole schedule should be based around your life.
Basically, yes. So a big party here, please, next year for 5-0. In addition to your Vegas escapades.
Did life change for you at 50? Well, you had a lot going on. I mean, work-wise, personal-wise. You've had quite a, let's say, 5-year operation happening.
Have.
Yeah.
47 and 52 has been memorable.
Yeah.
And some things I'd like to forget, but actually, no, it's part of the journey, right? Again, cliche, when people say, oh, at 50, it's the best decade. Don't they say that about every decade? 30s are your best. Some started in your 20s. 40s, it's all in your 40s. 50s, so far, so good, because I don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you got there a lot longer ago than I did.
I don't know about that, but I can see that in the 50s. I can really see that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was longer or not.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like just in general for what you're doing and to give your thoughts and opinion every single day, at some point you have to block out the crap and the noise, and you take some of it and maybe learn from it. But overall, you're like, okay, if they hate me, it's their loss. It's fine. I got there more recently, and now that I'm 2 years in, it is beautiful. It's such a relief. And I think, God, all those years wasted worrying about pleasing everybody else. So I love it. And I mean, professionally, it's something like you've been a huge part of and such a great help to me to just keep taking those steps and not be afraid of it when you've been, controlled by a machine for 30 years with network television. And you know this, I said it many times, I wouldn't change any of it. I'm so grateful for all of it. But now to try it on my own and be able to say, hey, Dave said, come on down, hour or so drive from where I live in Fort Lauderdale. On a Thursday, yeah, I'll be right there. Like, I don't have to ask permission.
Yeah.
I can just go do what I want. And who knew there was that freedom, which I do think comes with age and wisdom and experience.
Well, you also do live in the free state of Florida now. So this is Freedom Central. But people know the sort of the public side of all of this and leaving ESPN and the COVID stuff and canceling and all that. But in the midst of this, you were also getting a divorce.
Yeah.
You were also living on your own for the first time in I assume 20 plus years, right?
Oh, yeah.
And all that, and moving down here and everything else. And I've seen, one of your daughters is here. I've seen the relationship that you've managed with your girls and everything else. And when I come back from the grid, I have to take a trip within 2 days of coming back because on September 3rd is your ish.
That week.
Ish.
Yes.
Maybe I got it wrong slightly, but ish, first week of September-ish. Is your wedding to, of course, Dave.
Another Dave.
Yeah.
I love Daves in my life, you guys.
So that's a lot of stuff to happen in a short period.
It's a lot.
What did you make of those two things happening at once? I mean, basically going through the personal side, divorce and all that, and the career stuff. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to just be up in the air.
It was the craziest time of my life. And I do look back and I'm actually trying to give myself some grace. I'm frustrated with some things that I didn't do quickly enough. I think we beat ourselves up when we fail. And I think when you get a divorce, it's a failure in some ways. I was married for 20 years, almost to the day, together for 27 years, from 20 to 47. I met my ex-husband in college and first boyfriend,
Wow.
But look what came of those. There were the majority of beautiful years. And I have 3 awesome kids from that. But I think when it fails, and as a Catholic, and you have Catholic guilt, Jewish guilt, black guilt, white guilt, only half black guilt, I have all of it. And I just had to forgive myself. And I mean, from a spiritual aspect, I thought God was going to be really mad at me. I talked to my priest and was very helpful in saying, okay, have you prayed about this? What has been your process to get to this point? And then afterwards. And then, by the way, when you have 3 kids, and at the time they were all in high school, trying to make life as good as possible for them. And then to co-parent, which we did well, especially at the beginning, we did really well when they were younger.
Mm-hmm.
I look back on that time in the fear, because then you have to go to work and support everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I remember, you get a difficult text message or a conversation with an attorney, sometimes in commercial breaks, then you're back on, that light comes on, and whatever's going on in your personal life has to go in the back. Everybody does that every single day when you go into work. Everybody's got something.
Did it ever bleed? Do you have one moment where it bled into it? Like actually on television?
Not on television. Not on television. I think, COVID happened at the same time. It was literally 3 months after my divorce, COVID hit. It was insane. And living in the Northeast, not in the free state of Florida, completely shut down. And winter at the time, awful. I actually believe that from that moment on, the beginning of those personal difficulties, through COVID, through suspension and cancellation and a lawsuit for the last 16 months of my time at ESPN that was public against the company for which I was still working, I did my best work.
Yeah.
I just learned to become a master compartmentalizer. Is that the word?
It sounded like a word.
I know how to compartmentalize really well now, which cannot always be good. That can be a bad thing, I think, if you just put stuff away in your personal life and even professionally too. I will say this. I hadn't given up on love or finding someone, but I had stopped thinking about it. And I never knew how to date, Dave. I married my first boyfriend. I never knew. So at one point, my kids used to mock me. They're like, "You're the only single one out of all of us, Mom." And then one time, I only dated one guy kind of seriously during those 5 years that I was single.
Yeah.
And Quinn, my oldest, one time she saw me texting him back and she's like, "Is that what you're sending? Do not push send on that, Mom. Give me that. This is what you need to say." And then she's like, "Now, wait half an hour. Don't send it yet." There's strategy.
Yada, yada. That's not the guy you're marrying.
Hell no.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I was doing. And maybe my kids were like laughing at me and mocking. Again, I wouldn't change it. And now to have met someone who went through something similar, he has 2 kids and my 3.
So you guys are like the modern Brady Bunch,
Kind
basically.
of, yeah. And I'm so grateful. But I know, and sometimes I think, man, I wish I'd met him earlier. I wish, we always say, we wish we could have had children together. They would have been really tall, athletic, curly hair, like all the. And
I've met your kids. You're doing okay.
They're phenomenal, yes. But like to continue, I'm like, well, we're all dried up, babe. There is nothing left in here at this age, menopause fully in it. Like, no. It wouldn't have worked. Just like you with David, right?
Yeah.
It takes every step of that sometimes painful journey to get to that day and that moment where I happened to be in Nashville, Tennessee, at a charity for veterans, because I'm a daughter of a vet and he is a vet and the son of a vet. Happened to be there that one day on a Tuesday that if I hadn't stood up to ESPN and Disney, I would have been in Connecticut doing SportsCenter, not at this event where I met the love of my life.
And it turns out you have a crazy connection between your moms, right? Your moms somehow knew each other?
Yeah. 30 plus years ago, our fathers were stationed together in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So in the early 90s, they graduated from West Point a year apart. My dad, 1970, his dad, 1971. Fast forward to the early 90s, and our moms actually used to volunteer at a convent for retired nuns in Kansas. And I'm 3 years older, so I was in college when he was in high school. And fast forward to 2024, and we're at this event, and he recognized me from ESPN and came up to say hi and said, by the way, we kind of know each other. And I'm like, oh, Lord, don't give me this cheesy ass line. Like, I've kind of heard them all at this point the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And when he said that and gave my mom's name, basically, I was like, excuse me? I heard you're really cute. Okay, let's talk. It sounds so lame, and you know this, but I knew that night. Got engaged 5 months to the day later.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's not always easy, right? And people will judge. And I have had dear friends and family members in my life who are, have been concerned, like, wait, slow down. Kids have been like, wait a minute, mom and dad on his side. When you're this age and have been through it,
Yeah.
And I've never been more sure of anything in my life. And I'm so excited at the second chance. It's a second opportunity at love and being a great example for my kids and others to not give up.
This month, Tax Network USA is celebrating American Pride Month with 10% off all services honoring freedom, resilience, and financial independence. If you missed the April 15th deadline or you have back taxes, don't wait. The IRS is ramping up enforcement fast. Penalties can hit 5% per month. The good news, Tax Network USA can help. Whether you're self-employed, run a business, or your finances are a mess, their experts know how to get results. Consultations are free, and acting now could save you from wage garnishments or bank levies down the road. Call 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Dave to get started. Take advantage of this month's sale for 10% off. So in some sense, are you kind of thankful that the career and the personal thing happen at the same time? Usually if this was a movie, most people, it's like, oh, the career is going great, and that's why the other thing falls apart. You kind of lost them both at the same time, which maybe leads to like the peace that you have right now.
Thank you. That's the word. It's the peace. You also know that Florida, the free state of Florida, helped me with that. During COVID, I bought the condo in Fort Lauderdale sight unseen because it was during COVID and the HOA is strict and way too expensive and stupid. They wouldn't let us in to see the unit. So my realtor talked her way in for 10 minutes. I was in Connecticut, FaceTimed me. All I saw was behind her, the view of the ocean.
Yep.
And I'm like, let's do it. Good timing. It was like in May, June 2020, before everything in Florida really began to skyrocket, especially at the beach.
Yeah.
And I would come down every other weekend when my kids were with their dad. I was devastated to be like alone in this big house in Connecticut. Like you create this home and this life for your children and then you're alone.
Yeah.
And I couldn't handle it. I would just melt down because I missed my babies, even though they were where they should be at that time with their dad, who was great, So I would just escape down here for 48 hours, get off the air, go straight to the airport. And the water and the sun and the sand like healed my soul. It sounds so lame, but it healed my soul. And It had to happen this way. I think you find out who your friends are. And that was probably the hardest part, is just realizing, gosh, I guess I was only there for that person because I carried some weight at ESPN and could help out over here. That was probably the worst after the cancellation.
Yeah.
But man, it literally, it just had to be this way. And I remember praying New Year's Day, 2024. I got in the water. I had to fly back home that day. I had Evan with me, my youngest daughter, and I had been out on a date on New Year's Eve. Horrible. Like, so stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid. He was too young. It's fine. It's a story for another day.
Yeah. Well, it could be a story for today.
I need your tequila.
That can be arranged too.
And I remember just being like, you're so dumb, Sage. Like, why? But my friends were like, hey, who cares? You're single. Like, go for it. Just say yes. Go on a date. What were you going to say? Something?
Well, no, because we covered the story. I don't want. Well, you're also, your daughter's in the room, so I don't know how much we're going to do right now. But we covered that story about Charlize Theron talking about having sex with that younger guy. So and you went on a date with a younger guy. Yeah. I'm not implying anything here, but like, I can sense some like,
well, I guess
because I can see you're a little like, he was too young in the first place. We talked about her at 50, I think, having sex with a 26-year-old. Like, there is multiple layers here.
Multiple layers for sure. We were talking about this earlier. Just, I mean, I knew better before. There were a couple of dates. I knew better beforehand, but I was like, again, okay, who cares? I said this earlier when we were going to meet up somewhere, dinner, and he suggested the place. And I was like, okay, how's 7:30? He's like, bet. I was like, what? Bet? Like, I thought I misunderstood. Bet. Guys, you know what bet means?
BET, Black Entertainment Television.
Yeah, but they don't like me there. So, I mean, no, bet means like, cool, yeah, sure. I'm like, bet? And I hung up and I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? What does bet mean? Yes.
Right.
So, there's just, it's a different generation.
Yeah.
Like, no. Yeah. So you got me off track with, so I was in the ocean on New Year's Day after the crappy date. And I literally got in, which is what I always did when I had to go back to Connecticut. And I said, Lord, don't bring me anybody until you bring me somebody, and make it really clear. That was my prayer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't trust myself. And I was like, well, when you're lonely and you do, like, no, why are you lowering your bar? And so that was my prayer on January 1st, 2024. And when I say it was like the Sahara Desert from January 1st until November 12th, 2024, when I met Dave, it was. And I had asked God, don't bring me anybody till you bring me somebody, make it clear. It was clear as day. And that night when it hit me, I thought back to being in the ocean on January 1st. And I'm like, he's literally answering my prayers, because I said, make it really obvious. I asked him to make it very obvious. And I'll shut up after this. Like, Dave asked me a weekend. He's in Nashville. I'm in Florida. 4 or 5 hour phone conversations. All 3 kids had gone off to college, which was why I made the full-time move to Florida only after they were gone and okay. And he said, what do you want in a relationship? Like, what are your requirements? And for the first time, I was unafraid to say what I really wanted. And the first thing for me was that I needed someone to walk this faith journey with me. Because I always had a strong faith, but I wasn't fully committed to it, I don't think, and fully living it in every aspect. But I want someone that will pray with me. And let's resort to that before other things, before therapists, all these things. Like, so I finally could say that and mean it. And it was what he wanted too. Like, there's just so much God that's involved in this. And I was never open about my faith. As Catholics, you stay really quiet. You pray on Sunday, you kneel, you stand, you sit, you do all the things. And then you pray quietly on your own. And I'm not saying I'm at a Baptist church waving my arms and passing out or anything. No, it's not me. But the fact that I can share that with someone, again, my only sadness is that it didn't happen sooner, because this person he's just incredible. But I wouldn't have met him if it had happened sooner. And I do believe that God made it happen this way.
Yeah. And you've got these 3 great kids. So
yeah. Who you know what? Get to see their mom fail, personally and professionally in many ways. Dad too, right? All of it. But then get to see us pick ourselves back up and still remain positive and grateful and smile and have fun and take chances and look like an idiot and not know what that means and get back up and try it again. And then to find love again. I actually really am so grateful that they get to see a different version of me, and their dad who's happy with someone else. Like they get to see that you don't settle. And I think quite often that's what we're told to do. I think that's changing in society. But sometimes it's not right. And you have tough decisions to make, even if they are difficult for others. But what's on the other side can be beautiful. And that's what I hope that they take. Ask questions differently than I did at the beginning in their 20s. Stay true to what it is that's super important to them, even if it's hard to say. That's what I know my mistakes, I pray, will do for them.
What was it like to close the door on the house in Connecticut for the last time? Because that's something like I can't even imagine that now, raising these kids in this house, like the idea that one day I will say goodbye to this house, move, downsize, whatever it might be, like just to say goodbye to the place where your family.
You've raised your family.
Yeah.
Because it's not a house, it's a home.
Yeah.
You have created a home here for you and David and your boys. Like it is home. And I think I learned that as a military kid where we had to move every 2 years, and with no money, my mom and dad, they figured it out and did it. And every house was a home. And that started with, personalizing it and letting us pick our comforters. And even though we knew we had to leave in a year, I did that to that last house with the kids, every house that we lived in. And when Evan went off to college as the last one, last year I had all 3 in college. Thank God one graduating has a job. But like, it was, make me cry now. I was devastated. Because it was the end of that entire chapter of life.
Yeah.
Like it was over. And then you talk about empty nester.
And also, it was very unsure on the other side. Now it's getting a lot more sure for you, but career-wise and personally, it was very unsure at that point.
I put the house for sale.
And you were moving to a new state. I mean, it was pretty much everything.
Everything. Sold the house in like 3 hours. Thank you. Sold the house, sold everything in it, had an estate sale, kept things that were important to the kids, and I have a small storage unit in Connecticut. And I thought, well, someday I hope to have a house, a home again with somebody. And when I do, I'll get the stuff out of storage. And Evan had one, I said, everybody gets, one big thing that they get to keep. Small things fine, but a big thing. And she wanted to keep her bed and nightstand that she got when she was 14 from Restoration Hardware.
Ooh, very fancy.
RH Teen, that was a big one.
Damn, that ESPN money.
I know. I was like, you're killing me, but okay, fine. And I can't wait to put that bed and nightstand in a bedroom for her, probably soon, a bedroom that looks very different than any of us imagined, with Dave, and we're going to have bedrooms for all 5 kids somehow. We're going to figure it out. But like to drive away from that, I went through each room and like prayed in each room and just was very grateful. And then I remember taking a video of myself walking down the driveway for the last time to get in my car. I had 2 suitcases, a case of wine, some tequila, and the one plant that I hadn't murdered. And I just started driving, and it was 23 hours by myself. I'd never driven more than 3 hours without like crashing because I'd fall asleep at the wheel a lot. It's not a problem. And
you're not supposed to drink the wine before you take the drive.
Drink.
You do know that,
I just fall asleep when it's like highway. Yeah. It was the most amazing therapeutic drive by myself, like starting alone in a white sedan, just driving. And when I pulled into my condo and, like I had the thing in my car and the gates opened, I'd sobbed again because I'm like, and happy tears, as I said to the kids since they were little, these are happy tears because I'm choosing what I want this to look like. And I actually don't know what that is. I know that it's going to start here in a small condo compared to the big house and by the ocean that has helped me through so much and given me that escape. And I went on my balcony with a glass of wine and took a selfie so I can look back on that knowing that was like, driving away was hard. But again, I want the kids to see that. Like you can say goodbye. And instead of like focusing on the sadness of saying goodbye, let's celebrate the amazing memories that we got to create in this awesome house. Like there's so many memories and videos, and that's what you're creating here. And fortunately, like, when my Quinn was born in 2002, you didn't have your phones everywhere and videos everywhere and documenting everything. That has changed. I did a lot of that at the end there. But it is, and then I just said, I'm going to say yes to everything. And so when the Team Trump called and they're like, you want to come with Laura? And I was like, what? Yeah, let's just go. Let's say yes to everything and try it. I said yes to that. I said yes to being able to just come and sit with you and talk and be okay, crying and looking like an idiot. I said yes to going to Nashville that night on November 12th, even though I actually canceled something else to go just for the hell of it. Like when you say yes, crazy things can happen.
Guys, let's be honest. Most coffee gives you that quick little jolt and then what? A crash, jitters, that mid-morning brain fog, and before you know it, you're already pouring a second or third cup just to make it to lunchtime. But what if your coffee did more than just wake you up? What if it actually did something good for your body, something real, something lasting? Meet Rejuvenate Coffee. This isn't your average cup of joe. It starts with premium real Arabica beans, so yes, it tastes incredible. But what makes it special is what's inside, a powerful compound called CAAKG. Now, I know that sounds technical, but stick with me. CAAKG is backed by real science. It's been shown to support cellular energy, a healthy metabolism, and even healthy aging. Yeah, you heard that right. Your coffee could actually help you feel better, not just today, but 10 years from now. This isn't a gimmick. It's not a trend. It's a smart decision for people who take their health seriously and who want to feel focused, strong, and dialed in every single day. So if you care about how you feel, not just this morning, but long term, Rejuvenate Coffee is for you. Head on over to 1775coffee.com/Rubin and order a bag of Rejuvenate Coffee today. Fuel your body, protect your future. Rejuvenate. Yeah, I mean, so you were at Mar-a-Lago on election night. We had you on. Obviously, you're like basically running down the hallway in a selfie with the thing going in and out. But I know that's so consistently true for you because even, from the first time that we met, which now it feels, from the second we met, I felt like we were old friends.
I know.
But I felt that literally we were standing right there. You turned around and I just immediately was like, I've known her forever. And then that's got to be less than 2 years ago, basically, probably about 2 years, something like that. And then subsequently in these 2 years, our worlds just kept colliding. And that's one of the other interesting things about the internet or whatever it is that we're part of now. Like you start, like good people keep finding each other or keep getting pushed together in a weird way, like by some other
I don't think
force in some way.
It's not an accident.
Yeah.
But you from a distance before I even knew you, it was inspiring me and I didn't quite put that together at the time. But with your journey and what it took for you to say, okay, enough. We're selling the house, we're out.
Yeah.
I'm taking you guys with me. Are you going to come, are you going to be on this train? Like, that was a massive risk. I don't care how successful you were at the time or had been. It was still a huge risk to go and start over. And then you have a responsibility now because it's not just you and David, right? It's the team, people who are depending on you and depending on your success so they get a paycheck. And then you continue to create that for other people. I mean, just our actual friends show, like having such a blast, just saying yes to it. But that's what I hope people look at and take when they see you and see me on a much lesser level as I'm just really starting out in this world. Just try it.
Yeah.
What the hell? Look what can happen.
Well, that's why I said I said it on the first episode of the show with me, you and Russell, like we're all doing it for nothing. We have not made one dime on it. And the idea is let's build it for a while. Let's have fun, see if we enjoy it, which we really are enjoying it.
I love it.
Yeah, like every time it ends, I'm like, that was good. It was different. It was real. It was raw. We've brought in, Roseanne's done it and a couple other people have done it. But like that you just keep trying things. And I think if you just keep trying things with good people, like good things just happen. I actually don't think it's much more complex than that in some sense.
And it's all about the people. That's literally all I care about right now when it comes to business.
Yeah.
Am I working with good people? I worked with so many hundreds and hundreds of great people through 29 years in network TV. And there are a lot of jerks too, man. And those are the ones who are like, whoa, why? Like, why are you so miserable and hateful?
I don't want to get too much on this tangent, but we talked about him once before, and I don't mean to make it about him exactly. But like when you see someone that like really seems to go over the deep end in our world, so Keith Olbermann, for example, like, do you think that is that fame going to somebody's head? Is that money going to somebody's head? We don't even have to make it about him specifically.
Right.
Feel free to say whatever you want, obviously. But like, because I've seen a lot of that. I've seen people that I thought were so incredible who've completely lost their mind. And then I've seen people who I thought were kind of average that really turned out to be spectacular, and every version of that.
Right.
But like when you see people that really like had it all seemingly, and then just like go just nuts, like what do you think's going on there?
To say, okay, KO, I don't like to say his full name. I think there is true mental illness with him, like I do. And it's sad because I remember looking up to him so much and so uber talented. We all did.
I told you I wanted
fans.
to be that. I was watching in college heyday of SportsCenter with him and Dan Patrick. And Craig Kilborn, who I thought he was the one that made it funny. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So talented.
Yeah.
But big picture aside from whatever's going on in his life, sadly, I think people forget where they come from. They lose perspective. Yes, the fame gets to your head. Listen, there's always going to be a part of that. When the light comes on, there's an adrenaline that comes with it, and then you continue to go search for it, I think. And I miss live TV.
Yeah.
And do it, I guess, in many ways, But
do you feel that? So you feel live streaming is different than live TV just because it's not as produced and there aren't as many key grips and gaffers, and it's just a different event.
I mean, you live stream literally every day.
Yeah,
I don't. Mine's taped, but it's as live as we say, right? I mean, with my show, there's no editing.
Yeah.
Zero. It would help me sometimes if I allowed it.
I know.
But I'm like, no, this is me, authentically me. And even if on Actual Friends, I'm singing the wrong theme song to the cartoon, like whatever, it is what it is. And I can mock myself. I have people in my life who would never have allowed me to get too big for my britches and to forget my roots and the humble beginnings. And I shudder when I see people and you are watching them evolve in the wrong way. You're watching them change before your eyes. And when it gets to them, the fame, the recognition, money, whatever it is, I'm like, oh, no. I believe that you can be famous and uber successful and still be kind and still be respectful and be humble. Like, it doesn't mean you don't have confidence, but that self-deprecating vibe at times, we all need a little more of that, So you see it everywhere. And it's not just in our industry, right? I mean, corporate America and these CEOs but it's a choice. And I remember feeling a certain way, sitting next to certain people on the SportsCenter set, and people I used to admire and look up to, and women.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my gosh, she's so good on camera. And then the second the lights go off, how are they treating the intern or the producer who is afraid of her? Never, ever will I allow myself to get to that point. And so I'm glad I got to witness that. And there's just too many people. And, it's someday in the book.
It'll all be there. It'll all be there. Well, I guess partly that's also changing because the nature of having a phone in everybody's pocket is changing. So in the old days, you can think of like the TV host who was perfect on camera, but then yelling at the guys off camera, where now they can't really get away with it the way they used to because everybody's recording everybody and everybody's got an ear on something. So it's a little trickier these days probably to be so outwardly evil, I suppose. There's probably ways you could be underhandedly evil.
True. But then even if it's not caught on camera, word of mouth, man.
Yeah.
And that word gets out and you hear things about like Charlize Theron and how through the years, I don't know how she is now.
Yeah.
Before she talked about sleeping with a 26-year-old and how great it was, which was, I'm like, what? Ew. Like, not that he's 26, that the fact that you have to sit there and brag about it, but go ahead, you do you, girl. But like the behind the scenes person. And again, how do you treat the crew?
Yeah.
How do you treat everybody else? And now, like that'll get out to everybody on X and on whatever platform. But I just feel like all those people who have lost it and changed, what's in here, like in your heart, that is allowing you to act that way? And one time I was on air with another one of these women who I idolized, And at the end of our 2-hour Sports Center show, actually it was like a 3-hour Sports Center show, she said something nasty in the last 20 seconds to me. And then on a commercial break, it said something about my clothes to me. And this is at 2008 probably. So I was much nicer then.
No.
Now
not Linda Cohn.
Was
it Linda Cohn? It wasn't Linda Cohn.
It was not Linda Cohn.
Okay.
No, it's not Linda Cohn.
Right.
It's easy to narrow stuff down. Watch it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to think it through. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 2 of them, actually.
Gotcha.
One of them came shortly after I arrived there, but whatever.
I like this. You're laying out all the breadcrumbs for us. Yeah. It's a choose your own adventure.
Right.
Yeah.
Super talented, but like, oh my gosh, why? And I remember getting in the car and calling my mom right away because she had seen it live.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was almost in tears.
Oh, it was on air?
Oh, it was live on air, yeah. I was like, Mom. And she's like, that was awful. And then she said, what was the reaction? I said, well, a producer got in my ear and actually apologized for her, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but I look up to her and she's a mother. And I thought like her kids are a little older. She could give me some advice to survive at the worldwide leader. And again, this is 07, 08, very different time. And she's like, Sage, this has nothing to do with you. She doesn't dislike you.
Right.
She dislikes herself. Or there's something maybe difficult, sad going on in her life right now, which is no excuse. But as I always said to my kids, like there's no excuse for bad behavior, no matter what's going on in your life. But there might be a reason. And I do think that those are 2 different things. Like it doesn't excuse your behavior, but maybe that's why she was off that day and snapped at me and tried to show me up on live TV and embarrass me, and it worked.
Yeah.
But I've always kept that with me, that when someone's nasty in traffic, if they flip you off, if you accidentally cut them out, like, okay, is that about you per se? Probably not. And that's been helpful.
And as Jerry Seinfeld points out, all they're doing is showing you their finger.
Yeah.
Like at the end, like you're offended by that. My God, they showed me their finger. Holy
devastation.
It's terrible. It's
Let
terrible.
Go of it. Yeah.
I just want to jump back for a second because when I asked you the question about closing the door of your home, since we're here with a lot of 20-year-olds and we're of a certain age, do you remember the last episode of Three's Company by any chance?
John Ritter.
Who was amazing. And we really lost too soon.
Young.
He was so great.
But
the ending, the last episode, he walks out, Jack Tripper walks out, and Janet walks out. Yeah. And then the blonde who was the nurse, it wasn't Chrissy, it was whoever that blonde that came in for those last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
She closes the door, she shuts the light, and she gives this nod. She's kind of like, as if she had done everything she was supposed to do there. And it reminded, when you were saying that you had sort of closed up that chapter and moved on, it felt sort of complete. And the reason I'm doing a little callback, reason I'm doing a little callback with that is because everything that you've just described in your career since then you dove into this whole new world. You didn't know what the hell you were doing, but then just kept taking these chances and it worked. You didn't know what you were doing in the dating world and it worked. And it's like, that's the lesson that I was trying to illustrate for people on this August show.
Yeah, on this August show. Yeah. You're right. And there was a moment when I did drive away from that house. And also when you sell it, and I sold it, like I said, in 3 hours for like so much over asking, I was like, you're an idiot. Like, why would you?
Well, people were still trying to escape New York City. Little did they know Connecticut was probably not going to go the right way. But.
Yes. No, exactly. But it's almost like validation that you did a good job, because if someone walked into your home and loved it so much that they wanted to bring their children in, and they have 2 little boys, and raise them there and not change a thing and keep whatever they could that I was willing to leave for them. I'm like, okay, I did a good job, and now someone else feels comfortable enough to do that. And then you can walk away knowing that, it wasn't perfect, but I did my best. And I also felt that leaving ESPN, I knew that I had already gone beyond what I ever dreamt of, to be hosting NBA Countdown. And to me, during the greatest run since the Jordan era was with, the Warriors and the Cavs. I did all the finals from 12 through 19. Mm-hmm. And it was the best run. And it's like, okay, after that, I came back to SportsCenter, my roots.
Yeah.
I knew there was nothing left there. That's not why it ended. But I could leave that knowing that, man, I left it all out there and did my best and learned so much and changed so much. And I thought, as I'm driving away in tears, I started at ESPN with my kids ages 11 months, 2, and 4. And I left, and they were 18, 20, and 22. It's a lifetime. And I wouldn't have had so much, if not for those years there, which is why you don't change anything. But it was healthy. I don't have a desire to go back and visit. I'm good.
Can't go
Obviously, I
home
didn't
again.
love it there anyway,
Yeah.
between the weather and the taxes and the people. And I mean, there were certainly some awesome people. But like, I think moving my whole life as an Army kid, leaving is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And to go back, it just brings back all these things, some of which are really good, but they're past.
Right.
And you can't go recreate it, even if you want to.
Well,
so you have to go recreate it elsewhere with other people.
It's not like you're going to walk into the office in Bristol and they're going to be like, Sage, it turns out you were right about everything.
We missed you. Although,
yeah.
Hello, I saw Aaron Rodgers on the other day, and again, we're taping this in July.
Yeah.
With Pat McAfee, of course, who now is one of the kings of ESPN, who I do like Pat. And talking about how, I stood up and, ends up I was right. I got canceled a month before Aaron got canceled. And we got to be closer friends during that time, because as soon as I saw his cancellation, I texted him and I pushed send, and he was immediately writing back, because we were all in this like fearful, crazy thing. And I remember telling me that he would get text messages from some of the other top quarterbacks in the league and players, but specific quarterbacks who were like, dude, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. Not one said it, though, publicly and let him fry. They were fine with that. So I mean,
there was nothing more that I hated than that during the height of when I was saying a lot of things about the left that now everyone says, but when it was tough to say it at that time, and I was getting all the hate for that and all that, there was nothing I hated more than go open it up Twitter, have a DM, and every time I'd be like, I know what this is. And it would be someone usually more famous, more successful, more money, blah, blah, saying, I love what you're doing, love what you're doing. Okay, you want to get in on the party, pal? Like,
help me out.
Yeah, it's that Bruce Willis Die Hard thing. Welcome to the party, pal. Like, come on. You see, I'm up here, got no shoes, my feet are bleeding. It's Christmas Day. All hell's breaking loose.
Yes. That broke my heart for Aaron, because I was in it too.
Yeah.
But his was so much bigger because he's Aaron Rodgers, and just got crucified and continued to. And then I think it very much affected him, and he does things. I mean, it affects all of us, but like, you've seen him change since that time.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart for him, but he was right. All of us who pointed those kind of hypocrisies out and things that just didn't make sense, even though we didn't know why it didn't make sense at the time, it just didn't feel right, So I look back on that along with Aaron and you and a million other people. I'm like, yeah, damn it. I was right. I was right to question it, And I also look back and I laugh at the things that people on their airwaves are allowed to say now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, wait, I got suspended for what? And what? But man, I was there at the best time. Thank goodness I was there at the height.
Today's show is brought to you by Rumble Premium, the home of free speech and exclusive content from the voices that matter. With Rumble Premium, you get ad-free viewing, access to exclusive shows, and premium features across the platform. We're talking about Crowder's Mug Club, Tim Pool's Timcast, Russell Brand's Raw Commentary, and much more. Whether it's breaking news, real talk, or the content that challenges narratives, Rumble Premium puts you into the front row. Support creators who actually say what they mean and mean what they say. Go to rumble.com/premium/Rubin to join today. That's rumble.com/premium/Rubin, because truth shouldn't come with a filter.
You showed me a clip right before we started, so this will be a couple weeks old by the time we start, but this is at a WNBA game. Guys, we'll throw the clip in post. I don't even know the broadcaster's name. Maybe you know her name, but she just made a joke about getting the D. Most people know what that means. And she did that clearly pre-packaged and pre-planned on network television.
All right. Well, again, we hope it gets a little bit more competitive, because like a girls' trip to Cancun right now, there's no D.
I would assume the WNBA wants 13-year-old girls to watch. I'm going to go out on a limb and think that the 39-year-old parent of that girl is not too thrilled with that. Am I just an old fogey?
No, you're not. I was blown away. But not surprised because of who it was. That clip tells you everything. Like,
I
par for the course for that person who I don't really want to call a woman, because it's not very feminine or womanly to, I think, act that way, specifically plan that kind of a joke on national TV when you, to your point, you have young women who are watching, because the numbers of the WNBA continue to increase and the ratings were bringing so many fans into women's sports and women's basketball. And you got to say that so you can get some clicks. Like, just the lack of couth and class.
But in some way, does it feel like the next extension of the internal struggle that's happening with the WNBA now? Like this thing that's between, where there's this sort of, well, there's clearly a racial tension, then there's the financial tension, which I guess is the meta tension above everything, that they claim that they're not being paid enough, even though the league loses $40 million a year. But so you have the financial tension. There seems to be some racial tension.
There's definitely some racial tension.
There seems to be some
Clark.
sexuality tension.
There's that.
There's just general, like, we're not the NBA tension, right? Like, I don't even mean it financially, but the skill level, it's just different. Guys and girls are different. It's
a different game.
That's not to say girls aren't awesome, obviously. But in some way, when you showed me the clip this morning, that clip that we're talking about, I was like, oh, well, this just kind of feels like the next obvious step. Now the broadcasters will all act the same way. You know what I mean? Like, it's just everything and nothing at the same time.
But the question is why?
Right. It's so unnecessary.
Why do that? But that's the thing. Goes back to our prior conversation, when you make it about you and you make it about yourself in that moment, on a really big stage, especially based on how much the WNBA has grown with Caitlin Clark and many other women, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah. And it isn't just the athletes and not supporting each other or not supporting Caitlin Clark or whatever it is. If it's the broadcasters too, like, guys, just it's bad business.
So what do you make about the racial element to it? Because so I'm a child of the 80s, so of course I remember the Magic Bird thing, and there was a racial element to it in that Bird was white from Indiana and Magic was LA, he's from Michigan, but LA Magic. But it wasn't racial really. Like there was like a tiny tone of it. Like one of these guys is white and one of these guys is black. But that really was it, right? Do you think that's a fair estimation? It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't really thought of as race. Like there weren't race fighting.
Not at all.
Where now there's this feeling of they are hitting this girl because she is white.
Yeah. It was my favorite time in basketball, and I know we have this in common too.
Yeah.
And those Detroit Piston bad boy days, late 80s, early 90s.
But they'd kick the shit out of anybody. It didn't matter if you were white or black or if you were,
It was such a great era. You didn't look at it that way. I mean, obviously, when people say, I don't see color, certain on the left get mad. Of course, stop taking me literally. Of course I see it. I just don't lead with it.
Yeah.
I don't lead with the race aspect of whatever this is. With that, I mean, it was great marketing too. And you have, big white, aw shucks darn,
right.
Larry Bird from French Lick, Indiana.
Yeah.
And then Magic Johnson and, the show that the Los Angeles Lakers
his smile, everything about it. It was just perfect. Yeah.
And it was unintentionally, I guess, maybe racial, but you never heard it brought up.
Yeah.
No one said anything about it. It was like, this is just great basketball. With Caitlin.
And certainly nobody cared on the court. I guess that's the overriding
of
thing.
Course.
Nobody cared on the court.
No. How are you kidding me? They're like, we're going to feed Larry the ball. He's the best person, one of the best to ever step on the court, of course. And they just wanted to beat each other because they wanted to beat each other.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And you also want to beat the greatest. You want to beat the best. And that's what they were doing to each other for all those years. It was beautiful. I like that they want to beat Caitlin because she's one of the best players that the league has ever seen, and certainly the best college basketball player for women that we've ever seen. And statistically, look at the numbers, comparing to men as well, even though it is a different game.
Yeah.
But they've really not even tried to hide that racial aspect of it. And I don't understand why. The only conclusion I think we can come to is jealousy. And at the end of the day, if she's bringing more eyeballs to not just her team in Indiana, but to the entire league, isn't that a win for everybody?
Yeah.
Look at the increase in the value of all of these WNBA franchises right now as they're able to expand, actually, So why the hatred? Why the negative? Well, we were good before she came. Okay, yes, you were good basketball. Your game probably hasn't changed too much, but at the end of the day, she is something that we have not seen. No one had. It doesn't mean Maya Moore wasn't great or Sue Bird. This is a different kind of great, and it's okay to celebrate it even if she's a white girl from Iowa.
I told you, I was watching in 95 and Cynthia Cooper, I was like, this girl is, and she was old at the time by the time the WNBA started, but she was unbelievable. But do you think there's something maybe a little bit more about the female temperament or about the way females generally behave with each other as it relates to jealousy or something that's leading to this? Magic and Bird. They explode the NBA. And then in some sense, I mean, they talk about it in the book about the Dream Team. They knew it was time to hand it to Jordan, and now Jordan was going to take the league, and then he did unimaginable things with it. Where the girls, for some reason, seem to think it's going to take away from them, as opposed to that this could all add on together, something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
I know that's like a kind of broad stroke, but
no, it's probably true. You just look at women in general, and women get petty and have these little fights and arguments. Men are like, dude, what the hell did you do that for? Okay, sorry, let's go get a beer.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you guys are much better about that than we are and probably ever will be, certainly always have been. I also think that there is the sexual tension that goes along with the racial tension. I don't know exactly how this works itself out, because it is there.
Yeah.
And if she were Black, though, I believe it would be different. I think this is all tied into the woke culture. You certainly see, how that was handled with the WNBA a couple of years ago. And remember, Kelly Loeffler.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, she used to be one of the owners of the Atlanta Dream.
Yeah, I saw her speak yesterday at the end. She was so impressive.
She's wonderful. I really enjoyed being around her. But how she was treated, and God forbid you have a different opinion than the WNBA.
Yeah.
I know people in that league who have very conservative views would not dare say it out loud because it's the WNBA. So if you are white in a league that certainly has majority Black players, I think it's safe to say, I don't know the numbers, and a heterosexual, and getting all the attention, this is the result, I guess, which is shameful. Because
but it's the logical conclusion of wokeness, basically, is what you're saying. That you in some sense be happy if the white straight girl who was the star got taken out. Like, actually, that is what equity would be if she broke her leg.
Yeah, I mean, but look at the reaction to her, and obviously you're going to game plan to try to slow down the best player on the other person's team. You double team, whatever it is. But the physical nature of it, and the attacks and the going after. I'm not saying she's innocent. She's a hell of a good trash talker and good.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Larry Bird was arguably the best trash talker ever.
Yeah.
People just didn't see it, right? And he's like, oh, it's the country boy from Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, no, get out of it. He is filthy, dirty. He was I was in Indianapolis covering the Pacers in '98, I think it was, when he took over as the head coach.
Yeah.
And he was savage. He scared the crap out of me as the coach, much less Larry Legend.
Yeah.
So get it, girl. That's part of the game. But I don't understand. I mean, I think we know why. We've talked about it, right?
Yeah.
But someone needs to get in the ears of these girls, women, and coaches, and at the top levels as well, and say, you are actually turning people off from your sport because of how you're choosing to treat one person. It just looks petty. And I believe there's so many women who are so good and so talented, who are now being lumped together with the idiots who are making it about race and divisiveness. But hey, I think if she were lesbian, it would be a little bit easier for her. Right.
The sexuality component of it is
it's legit.
But it's also like really complex and hard to talk about also, because the racial element, it's become more comfortable to talk about in some sense. The sexuality part, because it's not seen necessarily, also adds like a weird tension to it. And the fact that I don't know what the exact numbers are either, but like it is something psychologically or sociologically to think about, that, let's say, gays, supposedly around 10% of the population, but if they're like half the WNBA, like, how does that change the perception of the league in some sense? Like, it shouldn't on the basketball court, but if all of that shit is leaking onto the court, then it's something else.
But if you look at some of the most successful female athletes in other sports, I mean, they are sexualized, and some of them willingly. I mean, you look at some of the outfits and the fashion that's, Serena Williams.
Who was the tennis girl, the blonde years ago?
Anna
Kournikova, who wasn't she was pretty good, but not like amazing, but she looked
I don't think
good,
she ever won anything significant as far as tournaments are concerned. And so then, hey, usually the more masculine you are as a woman, the less you're viewed as attractive, it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And so then if you have a lot of masculine-looking women, maybe predominantly masculine-looking women in this sport, any sport, everything's different. The marketing's different, right? And there are many who are not, and who are very feminine and have, lashes and braids and nails and makeup and are very proud of that,
Yeah.
I don't care, actually. You do you.
Right.
I'm just saying what comes with that is maybe not something that you can put your finger on exactly, but it's not shocking. I mean, how many of those WNBA players are getting makeup contracts? I don't know, versus Anna Kournikova with makeup and clothing and all those things. So.
Right. It's also just all of it shows that there are differences between people, because if I was taking, my boys are 13, we go to a basketball game, we go to a men's game, and then there's a fight or something, you'd be like, that's not the right way to play, but something where it does strike me, and maybe this is old-fashioned, something that if women start fighting with each other, and you have to explain that as a mother to your daughter what they're doing when she loves basketball, it does seem different to me. Is that just
the fight, like the physical aspect of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you can go back to the the stereotypes and I mean, guys, the ones that fought after school, and if you were the girl fighting after school, then you were ghetto, you were trash, or whatever. In general, I don't know. Do we want our daughters doing that? It's different. It's different than on the ice in the NHL. It just is, and that's okay. It doesn't mean we're lesser.
Yeah.
It means we're different.
Yeah.
So I hope it gets better. Caitlin is coming out now more and more, and you can see it in her game. And obviously she's had some injuries here, and we need to keep her healthy. But there's many people, and I think I've heard you say this before, and maybe on our actual Friends show, where you're like, at some point she's just going to be like, why am I putting up with this? I'm going to get severely injured, and it's going to affect everything in my life. Let me go start my own thing, because you talk about having sponsorships and support of middle America and people on the coast who, guess what? They don't even care that she's white.
Of course they don't.
They love the fact that she can ball.
Yeah.
And her handles and her shooting and her courage. That's all we really care about. I mean, most people, just like everything else, it's common sense. She can play. Get it, girl.
Well, that's the funny part of her wearing the shirt during the All-Star game. It's like, you are right, actually, perhaps, that you are not paid what you should be paid. But you're also subsidizing all of those other people, and they want more of what you're bringing them, and then they're also kicking the shit out of you. So, put the pieces together,
and then did you see what Kelsey Plum did?
No, I'm not sure.
She used to play for the Aces. I think she's with LA now. I can't remember. Can't keep track of all of it, and don't really choose to in some ways, to be honest with you.
You don't watch the WNBA, do you?
I do not make a habit of watching it. I watch clips and highlights. I do not sit down and watch WNBA games. I don't sit down and watch many NBA games right now. My life has changed a lot, and I've watched thousands and thousands. I'm like, been there, done that. I'm good, and I watch it certain times, watch the finals and the playoffs. That's it, especially when the Pacers run. But Kelsey, at the podium, after the game, talked about wearing the T-shirt, and that there was a meeting, I guess, a meeting of the minds to talk about the shirt and then what they are demanding or hoping for financially. And she called Caitlin out, and I didn't hear the exact soundbite, but I read, not to rat on her or anything, but, Caitlin and most of her teammates, they didn't show up at that meeting. Like, what's the point of saying that in front of a microphone? And that Kelsey Plum is white and heterosexual. Like, I don't know what that is. Is it? And fine, maybe you're making a great point. But when you do that publicly, you look like a petty, you-know-what. Like,
and
why?
Also, at the end of the day, it's the same thing as the Colbert thing we were talking about on Actual Friends, which is, at the end of the day, the WNBA is losing $40 million a year. Colbert was losing $40 million a year. Your leverage in reality to complain is not that great.
It's not. And I think that sometimes, some of these athletes, and in all sports, right? You start to believe the press a little bit too much. And it's like, okay, can you just scale it back here? Has it grown? Yes, absolutely. We know that it's being, hugely subsidized by the NBA, and that's okay too. I think people feel safe, especially in this climate, even though it's turning a little bit. Think back a couple years ago, like they could say and do no wrong. And who's going to cancel a women's league that's made up probably more than 50% minority? You're not touching that, are you? No way. Maybe they're smart. I hope they get it, but I don't know. Do they say, well, oh my gosh, well, so and so deserves? I think the highest salaries are $150,000-ish a year. based on the valuation of one of the franchises. Like, I understand that. That's why you're in the CBA talks right now. And hopefully by the time this airs, it's over with and people are happier.
Yeah.
But guess what? All those times of flying commercial, and it's improved.
Right.
And now you're private. Now you get the fancy hotel. But why is that, right? Because of people like Caitlin Clark,
Right.
who have helped grow it, and everybody's winning.
Isn't there some phrase about biting the hand that feeds you?
Yes.
I think that's the point.
I don't get it.
I don't know how that's all going to resolve, but I'm off the grid. I'm off the grid.
Officially off. Have you announced? Does everyone know where you are right now?
No.
No, this is a secret.
No.
I forget because
No.
No, I'm not saying it.
No.
Every year I'm in awe and I'm like, okay, that's on the list. And now this is on the list. And now this is on the list. Like,
why don't you do it next year? All right, that's my official challenge.
Next year when you go.
Right now, you're going to be married. The career has settled in again. You're going to be happy. You don't need the grind. Who needs it? Why not? You take 1 month. 1 month.
I've never done that.
When's the last time you did a weekend without the phone?
Without the phone?
Give me one. Yeah. When's the last time you did 1 day?
Years.
All right, Sage Steele.
Wait.
You like a challenge? You come from the sports world.
I have 3 kids. Like, your kids aren't on a phone yet.
No.
I got 3 kids in 3 different states. I check their location constantly.
That's the problem. She's right there.
I know. She's got headphones on. She's not even like, will you elbow her too? Just open. Hey, I'm talking about you. That one will turn off her location on me sometimes. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing wrong? She's like, well, Life 360. I was like, no, that's not working either. You cut me off and all. If you want your tuition paid.
Wait, Life 360? Is that a phrase I'm supposed to know? That just means I'm living my life. I'm living my life.
No.
I can't be followed. I'm living my Life 360.
Life 360. This is good. It's one of the only things I know that you don't, because my kids are old. Life 360 is an app.
Oh, it's an app.
And basically it's a tracker.
Oh.
But not only does it show you their location, it shows you when they're in a car, how fast they're going in live time.
Oh, God, this is all evil. It's
evil until you have teenagers.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, really? The first time when Quinn was 16 and getting her license, she wasn't supposed to have anybody in the car with her. And I could tell she did because the way she was answering. And then it was 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. And all of a sudden I see it at 50 and I was like,
I mean, this is like, you're going to see her heart rate go up and like, what are you doing? Like, I don't like, this all ends with Schwarzenegger Total Recall pulling the thing out of his nose. This is terrible.
I don't care. Life 360. Okay, so the challenge is what, for a weekend?
Well, my grand challenge to you is, I'm going to work on this with you over the course of the next year, is for you to take a month off. But I know that's a big ask. So my challenge...
Hey, guess what? I'm not making Rubin money, all right? Help me make Rubin money.
I didn't get the Sage Steele ESPN buyout or whatever. So we're probably in a similar boat here. My mini challenge will be that at some point in August, you at least take a weekend off the phone. That's the challenge.
What do you... Evan's saying it's not happening. What do you have to do to prepare to do that? Like... Say, I love you, everybody, like, okay.
Yeah, and you'll be able to you could tell your parents and your kids, hey, I'm with Dave, so if there's an emergency, we do have a way to get me if there's an absolute emergency. You know what I mean? And we had a couple things that one of the few things that I said I would come back for is a few years ago, because I knew that Larry King, who was my friend and mentor and like kind of bonus grandfather, I knew that his health was failing. And I really felt that if he passed away, I wanted to be able to just say something, just put something out there and then disappear again. So that was like one thing. But then we have it like if there's an emergency, like a death in the family or that kind of thing, we're attainable. But you have a husband, you have a fiance this summer who you could be with that weekend. And that way, if your kids need mom, they can reach out to him.
No, you're right.
You have a human with you. A human is what a phone used to be. You have a human with you who will be... Well, it would be nice if he could do it too, but one thing at a time here.
So before we reconvene,
yes,
that's the challenge. To take a weekend.
That when I see you, the next time I see you from after today is going to be on your wedding day, and I want to be able to kiss you and hug you and know that you took the ultimate challenge of 2 days off your phone.
Listen, my challenge now is making sure my arms look good in my dress. Okay. And now you're telling me, then that's a big challenge. And now you're telling me that I have to put my phone down for a weekend. Okay.
It's your daughter's headphones in right now. So I
Evan,
can say one. No,
take them off.
No,
Oh, wait.
I want them on.
No, leave them on. Never mind. Put it on.
Because you just got engaged. And if you guys take the weekend off the phone, I'm sure you'll find some other things to.
Oh, my.
Okay, end the show, end the program. What? If you're tired of the mainstream media circus and want more honest conversations, go check out our media playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a wide variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.